Growing up, I used to be very frightened and scared of certain things in my childhood. Now that I'm older, I start to retrospect on some of those things and look back at them for nostalgic reasons. Which is why today we're going to be talking about cartoons, real world dilemmas, stuff like that I've experienced that traumatized me as a kid. Now make sure you leave a like and subscribe. This is my first ever full-length video back into it. I was never really exposed to the idea of getting vaccinated for certain things, and just before, the day before I had to get my first ever flu shot, I would literally be so nervous, and I would just sit there. And at the point, I would literally get to that one breaking point almost, where I would go and look up Sid the freaking Science Kid flu shot episode to try to figure out what to even expect out of this. Now, how a fictional character can make a person like me calm down is beyond me. I never really watched a full show as a kid, though I did see him in the doctor's office on the TV sometimes, where the PBS channel would play while you're waiting. But the fire and lockdown drills during the school year were very important practices, and I never really realized the intensity that would actually pursue. I literally thought that the drill was a real thing, and then someone was going to come in, due to YouTube. I'm not going to give extensive details, because this was in middle school and early high school. I still had that fear. And I wasn't a legal adult, so I was literally like the only one that was like actually worried that something was going to happen, because what would be the worst case scenario? I mean, as someone with anxiety, I probably don't want to think about that too much. Just be so impeccably nervous, and I would literally just get so tense. Like, I did not want to perish, even though it was clearly a damn drill, and people just wanted to see how the process would go once the real thing were to happen, which it never did. But nonetheless, it still traumatized me. When we had a pool, I was at the old house, and it was a small backyard with a round pool. It was an above ground pool, and I would be so nervous when I first got in to get out from the side of the pool, just be hanging on, clinging on for supposedly dear life, if you want to put it that way. I would literally be like standing there, and my parents would be like, go in the middle, you're fine, you won't drown. And I was like, no, I don't want to. When I was in school, when I went to my high school, Eastridge, for the swimming unit in the middle school, one of the things we had to do was go underwater for a little bit. Okay, I should probably say this now while I'm editing this video. This guy apparently had a record for almost 30 minutes. I think it was this guy anyway. I looked it up online, but I don't even know, honestly. Everyone else did that. They weren't worried about the safety like I was. You could expect that your young boy would literally just be nervous and above ground and above water for all purposes. I would literally just be like, what happened? I'd just be standing still like that. But all the other students would be under for like, I think it was like 30 seconds to a minute, and then they would come back up. So I really feel so bad, but my child mind didn't know what was going on there. And finally, this is the one I really want to talk about the most. This is one of those things that I had to save for last. It's the most significant one I remember. So you know how Nick Jr. and Noggin had these Critter Corner segments, right?
Two doggy friends. One big, one small. That little fella sure wants that frisbee.
Real life animals just doing their shtick, and then sometimes it would be funny stuff, and sometimes it would be serious. And I think the longest one was the dogs playing in the snow or whatever the heck that one was. I remember the opening for that with the little mouse just scurrying about in a freaking type of thing.
Now it's time for Critter Corner on Noggin.
I remember seeing that guy. You want to know what I did? I ran behind my chair. So uncanny, and it was art, but it felt uncanny at the same time to me. I thought it was threatening my entire life. I think Nick Jr. / Noggin did a really good job of, portraying that well. Ironically enough, the elephant that was actually revealed to be the one behind the rain, that didn't scare me when the announcer would say that it was time for Critter Corner. Here we go. I didn't realize that it was Moosey Moose voicing over both the Noggin and Nick Jr. Critter Corner announcers. I mean, he's literally my boy. Look at him. How could you possibly say he was not the announcer and it was just some generic guy? Critter Corner is one of my all-time favorite bumpers from the Noggin era, but come on now. You really had to mess this up, Jake. I am surprised as all heck that didn't scare me, considering it was larger and taller and wider and everything in between. But it's just that mouse. I can't stand that mouse. But yeah, that has been some things that kind of scared me as a kid. Thank you all for watching this video.